According to a study published on the National Institute of Drug Abuse website, in 1960, people who are entering treatment for drug abuse, more than 80% claimed to start with heroin. In the 2000s, those entering treatment, 75 reported a prescription drug as their first drug of choice. My group has researched the current opioid epidemic in Ohio and has used a grid solution method on 4 different solutions. The dictionary definition of an opioid is a compound that resembles opium in its addictive properties and or physiological effects. Common opioids are codeine, fentanyl, hydrocodone, hydromorphine, heroin, and many more, according to the drugabuse.gov website. We use this website for most of our factuals. The first sighting in the United States of opioids was in 1775, but we did not see a huge surge of them until 1860 in the Civil War era, when doctors were starting to use opioids as painkillers for soldiers who were badly wounded or were being amputated. And then again, we saw it rise again in 1980 to 1990 when doctors started using it for pain treatment and chronic diseases. We saw the pharmaceutical companies starting to claim that no way opioids were addictive, and this led to overdoses from when people would start to go onto the street to buy once their prescription ran out. We have 3 major waves that classify this as an epidemic. 1999 to 2010 is the first wave, 2010 to 2013 is the second wave, 2013 to 2017 is the third wave. The first wave was prescription drugs, which would lead from a 14-day prescription for painkillers, and that would turn into patients going out and buying street drugs from when their prescriptions ran out because they had become addicted to it. The second wave was heroin, where people were moving on from prescription drugs and needed a stronger drug, so they were going to heroin. Heroin was also more readily available because it most of the time was homemade, and it had a higher demand. The third wave was synthetic opioids, which is a house-made opioid. Fentanyl is the big one in the media right now. It's really dangerous because even like skin contact with it can make you really high. The major components to this problem that we're facing in Ohio and in the United States that make this an epidemic is the death rate has gone up 45.2% between 2016 and 2017. The readily available street drugs, which are illegal, they're being shipped in from different countries. They're being made in kitchens in every city. The average starting place for addiction is in the medical setting for being prescribed painkillers, which is the 14-day prescription again. And this is affecting the average people. Now it's affecting moms, it's affecting high school sports, any sports player. It's really growing outwards. And the fact that doctors are still prescribing opioids even though they know they are very, very addictive. My group used a solution grid for the 4 solutions of mental illness, awareness, free counseling for those addicted and their families, to treat drug addiction as a disease, and heavier jail sentences as drug dealers. We took these 4 solutions and put them in a grid, rated them 1 to 4, and the fact of cost, feasibility, potential negative consequences, time, resources, effectiveness, and public acceptance. My group found that mental illness awareness was the most important and the most likely to be done and easiest. It has little cost. There's not a lot that people are really going to be stingy about. Second was free counseling, which this could cost more because you are taking a professional out of their setting and having to pay them. Thirdly, we found treat drug addiction as a disease. There have been studies that have shown that it is a disease and that it can be treated. And then we had heavier jail sentences for drug dealers as our last one, because I think that yes, we will have heavier jail sentences, but you first have to find them, and then you have to make an example out of them. So, to recap, Ohio in general has a serious opioid epidemic currently, and we are not doing enough about it. There are plenty of solutions we could do. Several ERs in Massachusetts have started looking into non-opioid or non-addictive drug treatments, and they're exploring that. So hopefully soon we will have that in Ohio.